Welcome to Subramani. I have a very peculiar problem which I am going to talk about. This is more for the advisor than for the investor. When you're sitting with your advisor and you ask him or her for all their goals, first of all, these goals are very rarely original. They are completely society's goals or somebody else's goals, which these people tell you that, oh, this is my goal. So typical goals are getting married, buying a house, buying a car, having kids schooling, kids college, kids education, kids marriage, and your own retirement. These are typically the goals. But along with these goals include travel abroad and buying a bigger house, bigger car, etc. So everybody wants to own a bigger car, a better car, a Mercedes, a Lexus, and whatever, all those kind of higher brands. They want expensive holidays in India. They have expensive holidays abroad. They want all this. Now when you sit with a client and the client tells you all this and you write down, and so first step is to write down the goal, second is to put the current cost, and third column would be to see how much is the inflation adjusted cost. And you tell him that okay, you will achieve all this, there is absolutely no problem. You have, these are the 4-5 funds that I have chosen. 2 of them are debt funds and 3 of them are equity funds. One is a hybrid fund or some such combination, and your SIP has to be about 6,72,000 rupees per month. And he recoils in horror saying, look, my salary is about 2,80,000 per month after all taxes. So you say, yes sir, I know it is 2,80,000, but you have to do 6,72,000 per month as an SIP if you have to achieve all these goals. Now what do you really do? Do you say, okay, therefore we will put much more in equity and therefore maybe you will be able to achieve all these goals? Or do you adjust the goals because of the money that you have? Matlab, what exactly do you do? Well, the regulator says you have to make goals, you have to make, it doesn't even say goals, it just says you have to do financial planning. What is financial planning? What is risk tolerance? I don't really understand these concepts. At least I don't understand how the regulator is going to understand these concepts. Let me put it that way. I understand what is risk tolerance, but does the regulator understand risk tolerance of the client the way he or she is supposed to understand? Now, do you take more risk for this client and say the goals will be achieved, or do you reduce the goals and say, sir, this is not possible, foreign tour is not possible, this car is not possible, so please downsize your goals for your cars, for your vacations, and for your children's education. There is no way how both your children can afford Ivy League education, because as of today it costs approximately 2 crores, including the application, including talking to a counselor who will teach you how to write the application, right? All put together will cost you about 2 crores. So 2 children means 4 crores today. Now you take it 10 years later, 20 years later, you have to at least double it. So 4 crores today would mean 8 crores or 16 crores after 20 years if your kids are still in school. Right? Do you have that kind of ability? Do you have the ability to pay for expensive vacations abroad or even expensive vacations in India? You have to do all that. Now, who is going to tell you that all this has to be done? Well, I don't know. So, whether to alter the goals on the budget that you have or to take more risk to achieve those goals, how are you going to make that distinction? You are not going to make that distinction. You are not going to make that choice. You are going to ask the client, saying, sir, do you want to achieve these goals? Then this is the amount of SIP that you should do. However, we were doing something like 70% in equity and 30% in debt. Do you want to change it to 95% in equity and 5% in debt? And very, very likely the client will say yes, especially in a booming market. In a falling market, or if the market has fallen, he will come back to you, or she will come back to you and say, oh, you should have told me, I didn't know that the market can go down so much. 35% fall is what you had told me. This has gone down 38%. No, he's actually not worried about that 3%. He just mentally he is not capable. His risk tolerance, which was high during a bull market, has come down during a bear market. How do you tackle this? I don't have solutions, and I don't need to, because I don't meet clients and I don't give gyan on all these things and tell them put into this fund, put into that fund. That reminds me, whatever I want to say about asset allocation, about risk taking, about how much you should have in equity and how much you should have in debt, which is asset allocation, for your goals, how to invest, these are not questions which bloggers can ever answer. We can broadly say in the long run or in the short run, and in the long run could mean 10 years or 15 years. So it's absolute bunkum as to how you can use it in your day-to-day life. Yes, but you can watch my videos and sit tight during bad times. Yes, that you can do, but specifically which fund to invest, how much to invest, for which goal, what returns you will get, how to do all that, that's not what any blogger can ever do for you. That is something which you have to do for yourself, right? So should you change the risk tolerance or should you change the goals? If you ask me, you have to change the. So what should you change? Should you change the goals, or should you change the risk tolerance or the riskiness of the portfolio? You should change the goals. It is very difficult for a young IFA or an MFD to do this. It is okay for senior people like me. If somebody older is able to do it, say, sir, this is not possible. Whereas for the younger guy, when he says that, the client may take it as an insult and go to somebody else and say, Arey, this guy doesn't know, I want to put more money in equity. He will do that. In case he does that, be happy that he's gone, because in a worst case scenario, if you put money in an elevated market and the market goes down, he is bound to tell you that, oh, you didn't tell me clearly enough. So whenever you are in doubt about whether the client has understood exactly what you have said, best thing is to make an email, write it, read it to yourself, sleep over it and send it to him or her, whoever it is, explaining exactly what you said, because many clients will come back and go to SEBI and say, he did not explain risk to me. I'm sure you have explained risk, but if you don't have proof that you have explained risk, what is the point? So create proof that you have said exactly what you wanted to say and the client has understood exactly what he should understand. Once that documentation is created, and it is largely created in formats which you have to design yourself, it's not going to be very easy, but it will be a better thing to do than just hope and pray that the client's risk profile matches his requirement profile. Normally the requirements are way ahead of the risk profile which he is willing to take. So you have to downsize his or her goals. That's not easy. Thank you.